Lucy had arrived in Puerto de la Luz 3 weeks earlier, her beat-up Volkswagen Golf coughing its last on the winding coastal road from Malaga. The town, perched on Spain's rugged southwestern coast, where the Atlantic crashed against cliffs like an old grudge, felt worlds away from the bustling streets of San Francisco she'd left behind. But exile had a way of choosing you, especially when your heart was still raw from a love that had splintered like driftwood. At 34, with her auburn curls cropped short after one too many bad hair days in the breakup fog, Lucy craved reinvention. Teaching English abroad seemed poetic. Words as bridges, not barriers. The school was a relic, its terracotta roofs leaking during the rare winter rains, classrooms furnished with desks scarred by generations of idle knives. Enrollment had plummeted as families fled for brighter prospects in Seville or abroad, leaving behind a skeleton crew of teachers and a principal, Señor Ramirez, whose primary skill was shuffling papers to delay the inevitable closure. Lucy's interview had been a formality, a video call where she'd gushed about Langston Hughes and interactive lit circles, her American accent a novelty that made Ramirez chuckle indulgently. On her first day, she'd pinned the rainbow badge to her blouse on impulse, a talisman from her life before. Back home it was a quiet statement of pride, a nod to the women who'd shaped her, first crushes in college dorms, then the ache of her last relationship with Elena, who'd traded their shared apartment for a promotion in New York. Here, in this conservative pocket of Spain where fiestas honored saints over self-expression, it felt like armor. Or a target. The mockery in that third-period class wasn't isolated. By lunch it had spread like wildfire through the sun-baked courtyard. Girls huddled by the fountain, giggling behind manicured hands. Boys lobbed paper airplanes scrawled with crude rainbows that missed their mark but hit her soul. Lucy ate alone on a bench, her tuna bocadillo turning to ash in her mouth, pretending to grade essays she hadn't assigned yet. That's when Luna appeared, like a shadow detaching from the bell tower. Luna Morales, 32, the art teacher who'd been at the school for 8 years, moved with the unhurried grace of someone who'd learned to navigate storms without capsizing. Her long black waves were always pulled into a loose braid, threaded with wildflowers she'd pick on her walks through the olive groves. Olive-skinned, with eyes like polished onyx that held secrets deeper than the sea caves below the town, Luna was the school's quiet heartbeat, organizing mural projects with the kids, mediating playground squabbles with a sketchpad and a smile. She slid onto the bench uninvited, her linen skirt whispering against the stone. "Ignore them," she said in accented English, her voice low and laced with the melody of Andalusian guitar strings. "They're boys. Hormones and boredom make monsters." Lucy looked up, startled, wiping mustard from her lip. "Monsters with good aim," she replied, forcing a wry smile. Up close, Luna smelled of lavender and clay, the scent of her pottery wheel. "I'm Lucy, the new Yankee invader. Luna." She extended a hand callous from brushes and kills, her grip firm yet gentle. "And you're not invading. You're breathing life into this place. Those essays? They'll thank you one day." They talked through the bell, about the school's funding woes, how the regional board had slashed budgets again, threatening to shutter the doors by summer. Luna sketched absent-mindedly on a napkin, a quick outline of the courtyard with exaggerated rainbow arches over the arches. "See? We could turn this into something beautiful," she murmured, her dark eyes flicking to Lucy's pin. There was no judgment, only a flicker of understanding that warmed Lucy like the afternoon sun. By week's end the taunts had evolved into avoidance, classrooms emptying when she entered, whispers trailing her like smoke. But Luna became her anchor. They'd linger after hours, sharing café con leche at the lone bar in town, El Faro, where fishermen swapped tales of tempests past. Luna spoke of her own scars. Orphaned young, raised by a stern abuela in a house of saints and silences, finding solace in canvases where colors didn't judge. "Art doesn't lie," she'd say, her fingers tracing the rim of her glass. "It just reveals." Lucy opened up too in fragments, the pride parades in the Castro, the sting of Elena's goodbye letter. "It's not you, it's the distance." The way teaching felt like mending her own deferred dreams. One evening, as the sky bruised purple over the cliffs, Luna reached across the table and adjusted Lucy's collar, her touch lingering on the rainbow pin. "Wear it proud," she whispered. "Some of us. We see it." That night, Alone in her rented casita overlooking the waves, Lucy lay awake, heart pounding like the surf below. Luna's voice echoed, a melody she'd replay until dawn. It was the first time since Elena that vulnerability felt like victory, not defeat. Word count crept up in her planner. 1,000 words of lesson plans, but more importantly, stolen glances in the staff room. Yet shadows loomed. Principal Ramirez called her in one drizzly Tuesday. His office a shrine to faded diplomas. The pin, Senora Harper, it's distracting. Complaints from parents. His mustache twitched like a nervous caterpillar. Distracting from what? The fact that half the roof leaks. Lucy shot back, her California directness clashing with his diplomatic dodge. He sighed, rubbing his temples. The board votes next month. We can't afford scandals. She left with fire in her veins, storming to the art room where Luna was glazing pots. They want me to take it off, she vented, slamming her bag down. Clay dust puffed up like a sigh. Luna set down her sponge, wiping her hands on her apron. Her expression was a storm cloud, concern laced with something fiercer. Then they don't deserve you. She stepped closer, close enough that Lucy could see the faint scar above her eyebrow from a childhood fall. Or this place. In that charged silence, Lucy's hand found Luna's, their fingers intertwining like vines claiming a trellis. It was tentative, electric, a promise unspoken. Outside, rain pattered on the tiles, washing away the day's grit. For the first time, Puerto de la Luz felt like home. But home, Lucy would learn, was built on fragile ground. Whispers turned to plots, and the pin that sparked ridicule would soon ignite a blaze neither woman could contain. The affair, if it could be called that yet, more a slow-burning ember, unfolded in stolen pockets of time. Mornings they'd walk the cliff path to school together, Lucy's practical sneakers crunching gravel beside Luna's worn espadrilles. She'd point out wild thyme blooming defiant in the cracks, Luna naming them in Spanish. Tamilo resilient as the women they mirrored. Evenings blurred into shared suppers at Luna's cottage, a stone-walled haven tucked in the hills, where they'd cook paella with chorizo scavenged from the market, laughter spilling out like wine. Luna's home was a gallery of her soul. Walls splashed with abstracts, swirls of azure for the sea, terracotta for the earth, and subtle rainbows bleeding into sunsets. My abuela would faint, she'd joke, stirring saffron rice, but her eyes held a shadow, a story half told of a youth spent hiding sketches under floorboards, fearing the town's prying eyes. One night, as thunder rumbled distant over Gibraltar, they sat on the terrace, blankets draped against the chill. Lucy traced constellations with her finger, naming Orion's belt like an old friend. In San Francisco, we'd watch these from rooftops with someone else. The words hung, heavy with Elena's ghost. Luna turned, her braid unraveling like her resolve. And now, her voice was a whisper, vulnerable as exposed clay. Now, Lucy said, leaning in until their breaths mingled. It's better. Their lips met soft as sea mist, hesitant at first, then deepening with the hunger of the withheld. Luna tasted of salt and sweetness, her hands framing Lucy's face with a tenderness that unraveled years of guarded walls. They pulled apart breathless, foreheads pressed, the storm breaking overhead in applause. From there, secrecy became their sanctuary. Notes slipped into lockers. Meet at the Grove after Vespers, L. Sketches left on Lucy's desk. A portrait of her laughing, rainbow pin aglow. In class, their eyes would lock across crowded halls. A private Morse code of winks and smiles that made the mockery fade to white noise. But Puerto de la Luz was a sieve for secrets. Javier, the ringleader of the Pingiers, was Luna's nephew, 17 and sullen, nursing grudges from a father's abandonment. He'd caught them once, lingering too long by the kiln shed, and slunk away with a smirk that promised trouble. Tia's got a gringa girlfriend, he muttered to his crew, the words twisting like barbed wire. Meanwhile, the school's crisis deepened. Bills piled like autumn leaves. Utilities unpaid, textbooks threadbare. Ramirez called emergency meetings, his face gaunt as the cliffs. The board's final, closure unless we raise 50,000 euros by Easter. Teachers murmured defeat. Parents picketed the gates with signs in faded marker. Salva nuestra escuela. Lucy listened, her mind racing back to her own windfall. A modest inheritance from an aunt who'd struck oil in Texas, tucked away for something meaningful. Back home she'd planned a vineyard tour in Napa. Now it whispered of redemption. But doubt gnawed, would it be enough? And at what cost to her fragile new life? She confided in Luna over a clandestine picnic in the olive groves, prosciutto and figs spread on a checkered cloth. I could help, she admitted, voice trembling. Wire the funds anonymously, through a stateside account. Buy time. Luna's eyes widened, then softened with awe. You're a miracle, Lucy Harper. She pulled her close, their embrace fierce against the wind-whipped branches. But why hide? This town needs heroes, not ghosts. Because heroes get shot at, Lucy murmured, thinking of Elena's cautionary tales from activist circles. And I just want a without the spotlight scorching everything. They sealed it with a kiss, olives forgotten, as dusk painted the groves in silvers and golds. That night, Lucy drafted the transfer on her laptop, fingers flying like prayers. By dawn the money was en route, untraceable and signed, a lifeline cast into the abyss. Relief washed over the school like spring rain. Ramirez announced a miraculous donation in assembly, his voice cracking with gratitude. Classrooms buzzed. Murals bloomed under Luna's brush. Even Javier slouched less, doodling rainbows ironically in his notebook. But betrayal brewed in the undercurrents. Enter Sofia Vargas, the vice principal, a sharp-eyed widow in her 40s, with a bob of steel-gray hair and a ledger's precision. She'd eyed Lucy from day one, her smiles tight as knotted twine. Rumor had it Sofia harbored ambitions for Ramirez's chair, and whispers of the Yankees' influence chafed like sand in a wound. Sofia cornered Luna one afternoon in the supply closet, crates of paint cans teetering like accusations. Your friendship with Harper. It's unbecoming. And now this donation. Coincidence? Luna stiffened, wiping cerulean from her palms. The funds save us all, Sofia. Let it. But Sofia's gaze was a scalpel. Or its leverage. For favors. Watch yourself, Morales. This town's memory is long. The warning lodged like a thorn. Luna dismissed it as jealousy, Sofia's own failed marriage fodder for town gossip, but unease festered. That evening, as she and Lucy danced slow in the cottage to a scratchy vinyl of Billie Holiday, Luna held tighter, whispering fears into sweat-damp hair. Promise me we're solid. No matter what. Like the cliffs, Lucy vowed, her heart a drumbeat against Luna's chest. Eternal. Yet eternity in Puerto de la Luz was as fickle as the tides. The donations' glow dimmed when Javier's crew unearthed old emails, hacked from a teacher's unsecured laptop, hinting at Lucy's role. The Rainbow Dyke bought her way in, they scrawled on the bulletin board, crude cartoons taped beside. Laughter turned venomous. Parents demanded meetings, crosses clutched like shields. Ramirez Torn called Lucy in again. Explandis, por favor. The town smells favoritism. It's anonymous, she insisted, pulse thundering. For the kids. Not me. He nodded wearily, but doubt etched his brow. Outside his door Sofia lurked, her smile a predator's gleam. The board's reprieve was tentative. Closure loomed if scandals tainted the gift. Luna found Lucy weeping in the staff lounge. Rainbow pin discarded on the table like a fallen flag. They'll ruin it, Lucy choked. Everything. Luna knelt, gathering her close. Not if we fight. Her voice was steel-wrapped in silk. Together. But as they clasped hands, a shadow fell across the window, Javier, phone in hand, filming their embrace. The click of the shutter was a gunshot in the quiet. Betrayal's first bullet had fired, and the war for their love and the school had just begun. The video spread like chaff in a Sirocco, grainy footage of their hug, uploaded to a local Facebook group with the caption, "Our savior at work. Who's really funding what?" By morning, the school's gates sagged under a barricade of protests. Villagers with pitchforks of pitch, signs decrying moral decay and foreign corruption. Mothers shielded children's eyes. Fathers spat tobacco at Lucy's golf as she inched through the throng. Inside, chaos reigned. Classrooms emptied to jeers. Ramirez locked his office, phone glued to his ear with board members baying for blood. Sofia stepped into the vacuum, her voice amplified over the PA. Classes suspended. Investigation pending. Lucy barricaded herself in the library, a forgotten wing of sagging shelves and dust motes dancing in sunbeams. She scrolled the comments, Vile barbs about deviant influences. Calls to deport the pin-wearing pervert. Her stomach roiled. The inheritance meant as salvation now chained her to the pillory. Luna burst in, face ashen, braid frayed like her nerves. Javier took it. My own blood. Tears carved tracks through clay smudges on her cheeks. He's sorry, he swears, pressured by his friends, but the damage. Lucy pulled her into the stacks, their bodies a bulwark against the storm. We knew risks. But this? It's biblical. Luna's laugh was bitter, echoing off leather spines. In this town, love is the original sin. She cupped Lucy's face, thumbs brushing away salt. But I'm not renouncing you. Not ever. They clung there amid tomes of forgotten romances, Jane Austen whispering of quiet rebellions, until Knuckles rapped the door. Sophia, clipboard in hand, her expression a mask of false concern. Harper. Morales. A word. The vice principal's office was a confessional of filing cabinets, air thick with stale coffee. Sophia perched like a raven, eyes darting between them. The donation traces to you, Lucy. American Bank, your name buried in layers. And this. Liaison. It's ammunition. The board retracts support unless you resign. Quietly. Lucy's blood iced. You dug that up? For what? Your promotion. Sophia's lips thinned. For the school. Your preferences taint it. Luna, think of your family. Javier's future. Luna surged forward, fists balled. My family? You're twisting my nephew like a puppet. And my future? It's hers. She jabbed a finger at Lucy, voice cracking like thunder. You want the chair? Earn it without selling souls. Sophia recoiled, but her counterstrike landed low. Ask your abuela, Luna. She warned you about city temptations. Or shall I? The room spun. Luna's abuela, fierce matriarch, bedridden now in the family finca, had been her rock, grudgingly accepting Luna's spinsterhood but never probing deeper. The threat of exposure twisted like a knife. They fled to the cliffs that evening, the sea a churning cauldron below. Wind whipped their coats. Gulls screamed accusations. She's bluffing, Lucy urged, gripping Luna's waist against the gale. We expose the funds publicly. Own it. Luna shook her head, hair lashing like black flags. And become martyrs? No. I need time. Her eyes, stormy as the waves, held fracture lines. For abuela. For Javier. The words landed like driftwood on Lucy's heart, heavy, abrading. Time? Or distance? Luna's silence was the truest betrayal. A chasm opening where trust had bridged. She turned away, silhouette sharp against the horizon. I love you, she whispered to the void. But love here. It drowns. Lucy watched her descend the path alone, the rainbow pin cold in her pocket. Back in her casita, she paced till moonrise, phone silent. Elena's old texts mocked from the archive. Distance kills, Luce. Run while you can. Dawn found her packing. A single suitcase, the Gulf's tank topped off for the road to Malaga. But Puerto de la Luz clanged like bears. A text from Ramirez. Emergency assembly. Your presence required. And another from Luna. Please. Don't go yet. The auditorium, once a hall for holiday plays, now reeked of sweat and suspicion. Parents crammed the bleachers, murmuring like a hive. Kids fidgeted in clusters, Javier notably absent. Sophia stood podium proud, flanked by bored suits from Seville, crisp ties amid the chaos. Ramirez cleared his throat, microphone feedback a shrill prelude. We gather for truth. The donation, generous, vital, stems from Ms. Harper. But circumstances demand accountability. Murmurs swelled to roars. A fisherman bellowed. She buys silence for her sins. Sophia nodded solemnly, fanning flames. Lucy rose from the shadows, heart hammering. No speech prepared, just raw American grit. Accountability? I came here to teach dreams, not dodge stones. Her voice amplified, steady as the cliffs. That money? From an aunt who believed in second chances. For these kids, your kids, to chase horizons beyond these hills. Hisses rippled, but she pressed on, pinning the rainbow badge back on. And this? It's me. Proud. Loving who I love. That scandal, then close the doors. But don't pretend it's the leak causing the flood. Silence crashed, then applause, scattered at first from younger teachers, a few bold parents. Luna slipped in late, eyes red-rimmed, taking a seat up front. Her nod was a lifeline tossed across the divide. Sophia interjected, voice syrup-slick. Admirable but irrelevant. The board. Luna shot up, braid swinging like a pendulum. The board can choke on their ties. Gasps echoed. Her abuela's rosary would blister. Lucy's gift saved us. My love for her? That's mine. And if you crucify her, you crucify this town. Javier burst through the doors then, wild-eyed, phone clutched like contrition. Tia's right. I posted it, stupid, angry. Delete it now. He thrust the device at Sophia, who paled as deletion's word. The tide turned. Claps swelled. A mother crossed herself, murmuring benediction. Ramirez seized the moment. We vote now. Keep the school. Honor the donor. Eyes thundered. But as cheers erupted, Sophia cornered Luna in the exodus. You'll regret this. I know things, your past sketches, those friends from art school. Luna's laugh was a blade. Publish them. Let the town see beauty for once. She walked away tall, finding Lucy in the throng. Their embrace was public, unapologetic. Rainbow against raven, a banner unfurled. Yet victory tasted bittersweet. That night, over victory sangria at El Faro, Luna confessed. Sophia's digging. Abuela's ill. I can't lose her too. Lucy squeezed her hand under the table. Then we fortify. Together. But fortresses crack under siege. Days later, a package arrived at Luna's cottage. Anonymously, Sophia's handwriting disguised. Inside. Faded photos from Luna's university days. Embraces with women in bohemian Seville. Caption scrawled, Whore of the Arts. Accompanying note. Resign or Abuela sees. Betrayal's second strike, poisoned arrow. Luna burned them in the hearth. Ashes swirling like lost promises. But the wound festered, doubt creeping. Was love worth the pyre? The high from the assembly evaporated like morning mist, leaving a brittle calm. School resumed with wary optimism. New supplies arrived, leaks patched with donor euros. Lucy's classes filled. Even Javier slunk in, mumbling apologies over sonnets. Poetry's for sissies, he'd grunt, but his notebook brimmed with verses raw as open veins. Luna and Lucy navigated their rhythm anew. Cautious in public, fervent in private. Weekends blurred into hill hikes, where they'd picnic under cork oaks, feeding each other manchego and membrillo, kisses tasting of sun-ripened fruit. You're my muse, Luna would murmur, sketching Lucy's profile against azure skies. Freckles like constellations, eyes alight with Yankee fire. But Sophia's shadow lengthened. Whispers traced her. Late-night calls to Seville contacts, ledgers balanced with suspicious vigor. She volunteered for budget oversight, her audits probing Lucy's transfer like a surgeon's scalpel. All above board, she'd coo in staff meetings, but her glances at Luna were vulture-sharp. Abuela's illness accelerated the fracture. Fevers racked the old woman. Her finca a vigil of Vegas and vigil lights. Luna shuttled between school and bedside, exhaustion etching hollows under her eyes. She asks for confessions, Luna confided one midnight, curled against Lucy in the casita. Sins of the flesh, she calls it. If she knew. Lucy stroked her hair, voice a lullaby. Truth sets free. Or we shield her with white lies. Luna tensed, a coil spring. Lies built this town. I won't brick us in. The breaking point came mid-April. Under a sky heavy with haboob haze from Africa. Abuela rallied enough for a bedside chat. Luna brought Lucy, introducing her as the American teacher, mi amiga especial. The elder's gaze, sharp as aged sherry, lingered on the rainbow pin. Colors for the lost, she rasped, clutching her crucifix. Vigor, niña. The sea takes what it loves. Luna paled, but Lucy knelt, taking the frail hand. Señora, your granddaughter's light brighter than any storm. She teaches me that. A ghost of a smile. Then guard it well. No accusations, just wisdom's weight. As they left, Abuela whispered to Luna. Love as you must. God sorts the waves. Relief flooded, but Sophia struck before it settled. That afternoon she ambushed Luna in the parking lot, Javier's confession video, edited maliciously, as bait. Your nephew's folly but your shame? Those photos I sent? Just the start. Resign Harper or I mail copies to the finca. With endorsements from concerned parents. Luna's blood boiled. Fists clenching gravel. Blackmail? You're the devil in heels. Sophia's laugh was ice. Practicality, dear. This school needs purity, not parades. Javier, eavesdropping from his scooter, revved up, fury for his Tia fueling teenage fire. Tia Sophia. I recorded you too. He waved his phone, time-stamped proof of her threats. Post this and you're done. Sophia snatched at it, but he dodged, pedaling off toward Ramirez's office. The vice principal's empire crumbled in an hour. Board calls, her resignation drafted amid sobs of denial. For the greater good, she wailed, but the town saw opportunism, not virtue. Cheers echoed that evening at El Faro, paella feasts, guitars strumming flamenco laced with triumph. Lucy and Luna danced under string lights, skirts swirling like petals in wind. We won, Lucy breathed, spinning into Luna's arms. But victory's aftertaste was ash. Javier confessed fully to Luna. Sophia had groomed his anger, feeding him tales of Lucy's agenda, to sabotage the donation, angling for her own slush fund. She hated you both, he admitted, head bowed. Said love like yours rots foundations. Betrayal, depth stunned familial fracture, institutional rot. Luna forgave her nephew with a fierce hug, but scars lingered. How do we rebuild? She asked Lucy later, stars wheeling overhead. Brick by brick, Lucy replied, with rainbows in the mortar. Yet cracks spiderwebbed. Abuela worsened, summoning Luna alone. In the finca's dim parlor surrounded by saints' icons, the elder confessed her own secret. A youthful love for a village seamstress, silenced by scandal, buried with a stillborn dream. I judged to forget, she wept. Don't repeat my cage, me soul. Luna emerged shattered, radiant. Absolution's gift. She raced to Lucy, bursting into the casita with tales and tears. She knew. All along. Blesses us. They made love then, not carnal fire but soul-deep merging. Hands mapping scars, whispers weaving vows. Dawn gilded them, a new chapter scripted in light. School bloomed under the thaw. Murals exploded across walls. Lucy's lit fused with Luna's art, rainbows arcing over Hugh's quotes. Enrollment ticked up. Even Sophia's vacant office birthed a community center dream. But climax crested unbidden. Late May, a regional inspector arrived, audits uncovering Sophia's embezzlements, thousands siphoned pre-donation, massed in consulting fees. The board, humiliated, demanded a scapegoat. Fingers pointed back. The Yankees' funds enabled it. Protests reignited fiercer. Torches at the gate, cries of, Fuera la extranjera. Ramirez wavered, calling a final vote. Lucy faced the assembly alone, Luna at her side, hand in hers, a united front. I'm no saint, Lucy began, voice echoing. Just a woman who believed in this place. The money was a start, not a bribe. Take it back if you must. But don't let fear foreclose futures. Silence, then a parent's voice. She stayed. When she could run. Eyes cascaded. The inspector nodded, case closed on Sophia alone. As the crowd dispersed, Javier approached, offering a sketched apology. Two women on cliffs, hands linked, rainbow bridge spanning the sea. Summer unfurled like a banner of truce, the Atlantic's breath milder. Cliffs cloaked in bougainvillea blaze. School secured through June, Lucy extended her contract. Visa stamped with reluctant approval, heart stamped with permanence. Luna's cottage became theirs, easels crowding the casita's sparse corners, canvases capturing their entwined silhouettes against sunset seas. Abuela passed gently in July, her finca's wake a tapestry of mourners. Townsfolk sharing stories of her hidden kindnesses, a seamstress's ghost invoked in toasts. Luna scattered ashes on the cliffs, Lucy at her elbow. Their fingers laced as waves claimed the dust. She freed me, Luna said, wind carrying her words to infinity. And you. You anchor me. Javier, redeemed, apprenticed under Luna. His graffiti talent channeled to murals, rainbows now symbols of resilience, not ridicule. The school rebranded. Escuela Arcoiris del Oeste, banners fluttering proud. Parents trickled back, drawn by whispers of change. Classes swelled with wide-eyed newcomers, dreams no longer deferred. Their love deepened in the quiet rhythms. Market mornings haggling figs, evenings on the terrace with vinyl spins of Ella Fitzgerald, voices harmonizing off-key. Conflicts arose human scale. Lucy's homesickness for fog-shrouded hills, Luna's flare-ups over American individualism clashing with communal ties. But they navigated with words as tools, therapy sessions via Zoom with a Barcelona counselor, letters penned in tandem to Elena, closures ink. Betrayals echo faded but lessons lingered. One autumn eve as olive harvest gilded the groves, they hosted a harvest fiesta. Lanterns strung, guitars wailing, the town converging in wary warmth. Lucy pinned extra rainbows on kids' collars, Luna sketching live portraits, Javier emceeing with surprising charm. Sophia's trial made headlines, community service in Seville, her ledger's a cautionary tome. She wrote Luna once from confinement, "I fought shadows of my own. Forgive if you can." Luna burned it unread but whispered to Lucy, "Pity not poison. That's growth." Climax's shadow passed. Humanism bloomed in the afterglow. Lucy's aunt's legacy expanded. A scholarship fund for queer youth, anonymous yet acknowledged in plaques. From one rainbow to many, the inscription read. Winter brought rains but indoors their world was hearthwarm. Curled by the fire, Luna's head on Lucy's lap, she'd muse. "We almost lost this." Lucy traced her jaw, green eyes soft. Almost is the American way. Close calls to comebacks. Puerto de la Luz transformed subtly. A pride flag on the bell tower, subtle as sea glass. Cafe chalkboards advertising Arcoiris lattes with a wink. They weren't saviors, just two women who dared visibility, turning mockery to mortar. One dawn, atop the cliffs where it began, Lucy knelt. Not in proposals flash but promises quiet. "Stay with me? Build more than walls, worlds." Luna's yes was a vow, sealed with salt-kissed lips. The seas roar their witness. No grand gestures, just enduring grace. Love as verb, as village, as victory. Years hence their story would whisper through classrooms. A tale of pins and pots, betrayals braved. A school reborn from ridicule's rubble. In the groves, olives would ripen sweeter. Rainbows arching eternal over waves that no longer drowned but danced. And in the heart of it, two women, Lucy with her freckled fire, Luna with her onyx depths, walking hand in hand, the horizon theirs to claim. For in the end rescue wasn't funds or fights, but the courage to love loud. In a town once too small for such light.